We begin with police in Nkranza who are appealing to escapees to return and report themselves to the police for protection. So far, 5 people have been arrested in connection with the incident. We are hearing of heavy police presence at the St. Theresa's Hospital, where the injured are currently receiving treatment. We'll go live and speak with Ohiming Terrier of our security desk. But first, listen to Director of Public Affairs of the Nkranza Police, Superintendent Alexander Obing, appealing to escapees to come back.
Given the security situation, additional reinforcement from 4 police units in Accra, among others, are on the ground, concentrating in protecting and securing vital state facilities including the roads or the downside, including our hospital, and also ensure that accesses to this area are also secure, i.e. the 4 exit and entry points, in and out to Kumasi, in and out to Kintampo, in and out to Azra, and in and out to Techima, have been secure 24 hours. Personnel are also deployed at various strategic police interest facilities. We would like to make an appeal to you in the interest of those who escaped from lawful custody. We will treat them in their own interest. Surrender, particularly those who are suspecting ourselves. Because no matter what, teams will look for. Finally, we want all of us to become whilst investigation continues to ensure that those who have perpetrated this criminality and these facilities are brought to support us in this direction.
We'll be going to Ohiming Terrier in Nkranza to tell us more about the security presence at the St. Theresa's Hospital. But let's come back to Accra. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources is this morning visiting the controversial Achimota Forest reserve following public outcry of its supposed sale to private developers. Government has since dismissed the allegations, insisting it is only ceding a portion of the reserve to the original landowners, the Owu family. We'll be taking you live there shortly for the latest, but before that, the sector minister has been reassuring that government is committed to protecting the reserve at all costs. He spoke to Evan Spencer on PM Express.
The lands were acquired with 2 acquisitions, the 1921 acquisition and the 1927 acquisition. The 1921 acquisition was a land acquired for purposes of constructing the Achimota School. The 1927 acquisition was a land which was acquired as an extension of the Achimota School. In 1930, the colonial government designated the 1927 acquisition as a forest reserve for purposes of plantation for fuel for the Achimota School, and which is what has become the Achimota Forest, the 1927 acquisition, which was converted in 1930 as a forest reserve. In the 1921 acquisition, compensation was paid. The 1927 acquisition, there's no evidence of payment of compensation. In addition to that, not all of the land was used as Achimota Forest, as we know. A lot of it has been encroached upon. For instance, Gimpa, as we know it today, is within the 1927 acquisition. The Forestry Commission headquarters is within the 1927 acquisition. The Earthquake Monitoring Center is within the 1927 acquisition. So is the Forestry Commission accommodation facilities in the 1927 acquisition. And private individuals have also been engaged in developments within the 1927 acquisition. So sometime in 2007, the Wu family petitioned the president of the time, President Kufuor, on two grounds. The first ground being that compensation had not been paid for the 1927 acquisition. And the second ground is also that the land is being used, part of the land is being used for purposes which is at variance with the original purpose for which it was acquired. And as you know, the constitutional provision, specifically Article 20 of the Constitution, makes a pronouncement on that. And therefore, some of the land, the unused part of the land, be returned to them. The matter is traveled to President Mills, President Mahama, where even in President Mahama's time, three leases were executed in favor of the Owu family, and all the way through. And this government is giving effect to the arrangements which were made by amending the Cap 157, which is the Forest Act of 1927, to de-gazette the peripheral portions of the Achimota Forest, the part which is not being used as a forest reserve, for the Owu family.
So for clarity, are you giving the entire forest back to them? Because
no, we're not giving the entire forest back to them. We're giving the peripheral portions of the Achimota Forest to them. The Achimota Forest will remain intact. As a matter of fact, we are in the process of reforesting the Achimota Forest. We've been planting trees in the Achimota Forest. Money has been voted for the reforestation of the Achimota Forest. And we intend to even do more, and hopefully in the not too distant future, turn the Achimota Forest into a forest enclave in the likes of Hyde Park in London, Central Park in New York. So on the contrary, we are seeking to preserve the Achimota Forest. And both instruments, the EI 144 and EI 155, were all promulgated solely and specifically with provisions to protect the Achimota Forest. So on the contrary, the Achimota Forest is not being sold. It cannot be sold, and President Akufo-Addo will never sell the Achimota Forest.
My colleague Kojo Brace is pitching camp at the Achimota Forest in anticipation of the arrival of the minister. We'll be going to him live for more on this. But let's go back to Nkranza and speak with my colleague Ohimeng Teria, who's been monitoring events there for us. Ohimeng, we are hearing of reports of heavy presence of security at the St. Theresa's Hospital, waiting to arrest those who perpetrated the crime, who are also on hospital bed. Can you confirm this?
Aisha, I'm a bit surprised to hear that people will perhaps try to explain the presence of the police to mean that they are there to arrest people who will visit the hospital with injuries or gunshot wounds. It's a bit surprising, because on Tuesday evening, for instance, I had a chat with the administrator of the St. Teresa's Catholic Hospital, Reverend Father John Ibrahim, who told me that they have called for police and the military assistance. I asked specifically why they will need the presence of the police or the military at the hospital, and he told me that even in instances where there are motor accidents and victims are rushed to the facility, you'll see the town force besieging the hospital and trying to impede the medical assistance that the hospital staff or the personnel there would provide to the victims. And he believes that management has thought it wise to invite the security because of the issue. And he, knowing the terrain very well, that is what compelled management to ask for the assistance. So I asked, what kind of assistance do you need? Is it the military or the police? He said they have sent that proposal to the security coordinator, and whoever is provided, whoever comes to provide security at the facility, they will be very grateful. So on Wednesday, that request did not happen, because on Tuesday, we spent almost all the night at the hospital. And when we left to our base and then returned on Wednesday morning, that's yesterday, then I realized the police has dispatched some of its men to the facility. In fact, we were there, I was there with other colleague journalists when the police team came to the facility. And beyond this, I also learned from the police administration that it's not only the hospital that they are providing security to. There are other police officers who have been stationed at vantage points. Let me say this. At the Nkranza GCB Bank and other banks like Bastox and the rest, they have policemen stationed there. And then at the various intersections in the Nkranza township here, we also have some policemen stationed there. And when I inquired from the police administration, the explanation I got was that they have picked, the presence of the police is based on intelligence that they have picked. That there's an indication that some of the youth may want to attack some public installations and public places. And so beyond even these places, they also have some police officers stationed at the Nkranza Municipal and also Divisional Police Headquarters. So I'll be a bit surprised to hear that people who want to impute meaning to the fact that they are there to arrest people or victims who come to the facility with gunshot wounds or injuries. So I'm a bit surprised, Aisha.
Now, we are hearing also that the police is urging the cell escapees to actually come back, report to the police in their own interest. But what is the police itself doing to ensure that they come back?
Yes, for this call, it came just last night when the Director of Police Public Affairs, Superintendent Alexander Obin, addressed the media in Nkranza, and he said one of the fugitives who were freed, the inmates who were freed from the cells has been arrested. And he says efforts were being made to also pursue and arrest the other inmates who ran from the police cells. So he thinks that, yes, as a police administration, they are doing what they call intelligence-led operations, and it was through that particular activity that led to the arrest of one of the inmates, a murder suspect who ran from lawful custody. And so the appeal is that if you know you are hiding anywhere, just report yourself to police, because no matter what you do, no matter where you go, definitely the Ghana Police Service, through intelligence-led, will pick you up and then for you to face lawful custody. And so now they wouldn't want to give more details about what exactly is intelligence-led operations that they are doing. But I know that for the explanation he gave, police are still working and going extra mile to arrest all those who escaped from lawful custody when the youth of Nkranza went on rampage on Tuesday and possibly forced the cell doors open and also released the inmates who were in police custody.
Ohementeria is our man on this beat. He's been bringing us updates, and sure we'll bring you more in our subsequent bulletins in Nkranza. Now, it's marijuana or tramadol? KNUST Inca scientists developed a test kit they say can detect cocaine, marijuana among hard drugs. Now, we'll be going there and look at what the Department of Medical Diagnostics is doing on Tech Thursday.
The kit, known as 10-in-1 for drug abuse, can detect substances such as amphetamines, barbiturates, benzodiazepine, cocaine, and marijuana. The rest are morphine, opiates, tricyclic antidepressants, and tramadol. The scientists have developed a kit for alcohol too. Dr. Yao Amoyafe is head of medical diagnostics, KNUST.
And as a department, we came to realize that we have what it takes to be able to develop urine test kits that can help identify these drug abuses. We have decided that we then targeted the very common drugs that are abused and tailored our test kits to be able to identify them by a simple test strip, as is done with pregnancy tests and all that.
During testing, a urine sample is placed on the kit. A drug, if present in the urine, will react with the kit and produce a certain color. The colored line will not form in the test line region. The drug level is above its cutoff concentration. CEO of ACAS and lecturer at the department, Dr. Lord Anthony Basson, says in about 5 minutes results should be ready.
In this window, it's called a test and control window, you begin to see a rise, and as you can see from here, some of the fluids have started rising. And once, as you can see, it started rising. Once it rises, what you're going to see is, if it's 2 lines, it means that it is negative. If it is 1 line, it is positive. Except for tramadol. Tramadol, if it's 1 line, it's negative. If it's 2 lines, it's positive. But all of this is indicated in a form that accompanies it. So it's very easy to follow it and be able to do it. So after you've done the test, after it begins to rise, you put it down for just about 5 minutes, and it should be able to give you the results. So when you look here, that is the results that it gives you. So as I earlier indicated, if it is 2 lines, it means that it is negative. So because this is water and this is not urine from somebody we suspect to have it, or we expect everything to be negative. As you can see, for the nicotine, they are both negative. Because it's negative because there are 2 lines. Cocaine is negative. The benzodiazepines is negative. Barbiturates is negative, and then the amphetamines as well negative. When you turn the other side, it's the same thing except for tramadol, which is 1 line. Again, as I already indicated, 1 line for tramadol means that it is negative. So all of this is negative, including tramadol.
Dr. Basson, however, says the positive results indicate presence of the drug, but does not indicate level of intoxication, administration route, or concentration level. Again, negative results may not necessarily indicate drug-free urine. Reporting for JoyNews, Kwesi Deborah.
With unsafe abortion remaining one of the leading causes of maternal deaths across the Bono East region and the country at large, the Bono East Regional Health Directorate has held a stakeholder meeting aimed at creating a platform for harnessing the opinions of stakeholders toward finding lasting interventions to abortion-related deaths and challenges across the region. Anna Savit has more in this report.
One key campaign promise made by Mohamed Adam Soparu, then the Sesala West parliamentary candidate of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, in the run-up to the 2020 general election, was to tackle unemployment among the people, especially the youth, should he be given the nod. His parliamentary bid was overwhelmingly endorsed, giving a landslide victory, and it is time to redeem the pledge. Mohamed Adam Soparu opined that with the current harsh economic conditions that Ghanaians are going through due to the unfulfilled promises, bad policies and projects of the governing New Patriotic Party, they cannot be trusted to alleviate the sufferings of the people.
It is obvious that we cannot look up to the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia regime to salvage the situation. As your member of parliament, I have pledged my full commitment towards ensuring that we lay a foundation for a more prosperous society and improve on our socio-economic situation.
He therefore found solace in a 3-year skills training program for hundreds of youth.
Apology for the break in sound. Let's take a break. When we return, there's more on News Desk. Welcome back to News Desk. To the rest of our stories. Months after the officials first visited AMA officials visited the market, the vendors are yet to act on the recommendations, including repairing and replacing fly control nets, and most of the workers have failed to acquire a health certificate at the Kaneshie market. It has therefore been given a week's ultimatum to put the place in shape or risk being shut down. Michael Ashali has more in the following report.
This is one of the city's largest meat and fish hubs. Located in the Kaneshi Market Complex, the market serves hundreds of customers each day. In the wake of the public concerns over food poisoning, the officials of the AMA are here to inspect the sanitary conditions of the place.
Footwear, everything is hung here. The footwear is used anywhere they find themselves. You got to hang the footwear to here.
Right on top of where they are cutting meat?
On top of where they cut the meat. You can imagine the degree of contamination they are putting on the food before it comes to the market. And we cannot sit to continue for these things to continue in this place.
Joseph Asitanga is the Environmental Health Officer for the Okankwe South Submetro of the AMA. Together with his team, they inspect the health certificates of the vendors and workers and the sanitary conditions under which they prepare and preserve the meat. The officials have been here before, and once again, they have failed the inspection. The nets were dirty and some torn, making it easy for the flies to access their wards, and many of the vendors did not have a health certificate, a strict requirement of the law to operate such a business. So this time, Mr. Sitanga threatens to close down the place.
The last time we've been to this particular meat shop, I can tell you that it still remains the same condition as we came here. Because they were being educated not to hang all their used clothing within the position where it is as at now. This is because of cross-contamination that we are trying to prevent. And we made them, the leadership, aware that the next visit will come. And then they don't change. And they don't change and paint the place. And the place remains as it is. We are going to close this place. And I'm ready to close this place today. I'm arranging to ensure that this meat shop is closed until they meet the requirement and they will operate. And that is the order of the day. We are going to work with them because we are not going to compromise anything with anybody here. Not that we don't come here. Every time we visit here, we give them education as to how to handle this particular place. Just look at what is happening here. Chairman, just look at what is happening here. So is it wrong if we enforce the law to put the place off? I just want you to say yes or no. We do it at Tuesday Market. We do it at Makola Market. We do it at Nima Market. We do it at Malata Market and Agboglosi Market. Kaneshi Market is not exempted. Kaneshi Market is not above the other markets.
We plead with you so that we'll make it the next coming week.
Abdul Karim is the chair of the vendors.
That next coming week, I promise everything will be okay that if you come.
Everything will be okay. Give me the conditions. Okay, next, let me see.
It won't be there again. If the cleaning, that's the market responsibility, I'm sure they will take it.
But Chief Health Inspector of the facility, Paula Dele, disagrees with the conclusion of the AMA officials.
But I disagree. It is not everybody in this room who hadn't done the medical certificate. Some of them haven't done the medical certificate, but majority of them have done the health certificate. But if you say that the whole room is dirty, we have no clean, it's a dirty place, I ask you, the first time you enter here, the first thing would have embraced you would have been flies, would have been stench, would have been smell, would have been bad odor. But I tell you that we are all enjoying the fresh air in this room. The only thing I agree that we need to renovate the room. It is true, our netting are worn out, our fly proof are worn out, some of our tiles are no good. Yes, I agree. But to say entirely that the premises is absolutely dirty, I disagree.
Is the 1 week going to be enough for you?
The 1 week will certainly will not be enough. With regards to the renovation, 1 week will not be enough. But with the certification, I believe 1 week should be enough for the certification.
Although declared unfit to continue operating, some of the vendors think otherwise.
Our meat is clean, the whole Accra.
When you compare yourself, how would you mark yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say you are?
100%. Not say, I'll give myself 100% neatness. The whole butchers in Accra, Kaneshi Market. We are neat than everybody. Yes.
And the other meat shop, what would you rate them?
On that one, they rate myself, but I mean, I rate myself 100%.
After minutes of pleading, the inspectors gave the vendors up to a week to clean their surroundings as well as obtain their health certificate or risk closure.
The meat market, there are a lot of challenges there, and we have taken them through education and gave them a period, 1 week period, for them to tidy up the place for re-inspection to be carried out. And we made them to understand that non-compliance to the directive that we are asking them to do, it means that they will not allow them to sell meat in the open market, today's week coming. We are going to meet the market management, the MD of whoever are managers of the market. They will convey whatever challenges are in the market here to them for redress. When they don't comply, as well as we are taking the meat sellers on, the market management of the market will also be processed for court.
So you've heard from Mr. Joseph Asitanga together with his teams. This is the Kaneshi Market Complex, the fish and meat market. They've been given up to a week to put their house in order, or else it will be shut down completely, and he's threatening that he's going to hail management of this complex to court as well. For JoyNews, Michael Ashale, and this is Joy Clean Ghana campaign.
The internal primaries of the New Patriotic Party over the years have been dominated by men. However, in the Upper West region, the story of Lenat Osman Kundaribo is beginning to change the narrative. She's the only female candidate amongst the men battling out for the regional secretary portfolio. Lenat says her tenure, if elected, will witness a rejuvenation of the NPP in the Upper West region. Rafiq Salam has more.
Joyful celebration amongst some party delegates when she arrived to file her nomination for election. Lenat Osman Kundaribo is the only female contestant for the regional secretary slot of the New Patriotic Party in the Upper West region. The governing party is this week receiving nominations after a fiercely contested polling station and constituency level primaries. The contest so far has been largely dominated by men. However, in a bid to bring what she describes as a breath of fresh air, the female candidate says she hopes to uplift the youth and the grassroots of the party.
We just finished filing today for the position of the Upper West Regional Secretary, and then my tenure as Regional Secretary, if elected, is going to be unprecedented. And not only is it going to be unprecedented, it's going to bring some new sense of euphoria, some kind of rejuvenation among the youth and among the elders of the party as well.
She is also pledging her support to the MPP's agenda to break the 8-year political cycle.
We are looking forward to breaking the 8. We are looking forward to rejuvenating the energy with the grassroots. We are looking forward to working hard to get 2024. Thank you so much.
The regional elections of executives of the MPP is slated for the end of May 2022. The process is to pave way for the election of the national representatives later this year.
With unsafe abortion remaining one of the leading causes of maternal deaths across the Bono East region and the country at large, the Bono East Regional Health Directorate held a stakeholder meeting aimed at creating a platform for harnessing the opinions of stakeholders towards finding lasting interventions to abortion-related deaths and challenges across the region. Anna Sabit has more.
In Ghana, abortion is highly stigmatized despite relatively liberal laws, and unsafe abortion remain a leading cause of preventable maternal deaths, with statistics indicating that between 4.7 to 13.2% of maternal deaths attributed to unsafe abortion. Dr. Paulina Clara Apia is the Deputy Director in charge of Public Health at the Bono East Regional Health Directorate. She shared with JoyNews the regional statistics in terms of unsafe abortion.
We know that abortion is one of the major causes of maternal mortality. And for our region, last year we recorded for the mothers who died, 5% of them were from unsafe abortion. And I think it tallies with national and then even international figures. Internationally, it's about 4 to 13%. So far as a region, if you are doing 5%, then it's quite high.
To help address this worrying menace, the Regional Health Directorate, with support from partners, held a stakeholder meeting in Techiman to create a platform for harnessing the opinions of stakeholders towards finding lasting interventions to abortion-related deaths and its related challenges.
What we are doing is we are engaging our various stakeholders. We are not engaging.
We'll bring you more in this report, but let's go now to the Achimota Forest, where the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is currently addressing the press.
Of Lands and Natural Resources, together with the Forestry Commission, are taking journalists around to really see what the Achimota Forest is like, and for us to better understand the situation at hand, to know exactly which of the areas are being reclassified. So thanks for joining us. This is the news desk. Fortunately, I have with me here the CEO of the Forestry Commission, Mr. John Alote. He's been taking us around to show us exactly what the forest looks like. Mr. Alote, thank you so much. What are we doing now? You can better explain for us.
Yes, at the Forestry Commission, the Forestry Commission is an institution mandated to manage the forest and wildlife resources in Ghana. And then we've been receiving a lot of, calls from various media, institutions to know about the forestry, the Achimota Forest. So we decided that today, 10 o'clock, you should all come, and then we will go through the forest, Achimota Forest, so that you have, first-hand, information, and then see for yourself what developments are happening.
So for those who are watching, where are we? How can they appreciate what we're doing?
We are right in the middle of the Achimota Forest. We started from the headquarters. We went through where we have the nursery. We came to the areas that we developed in 2017, planting trees, and then we are, this area was planted in 2017, where we've made deliberate effort to plant trees in the forest, so you can see them yourself what we have been doing here. We have the youth in afforestation workers working here to plant trees. Virtually the most part of the Achimota Forest is made up of shrubs, and then since 2017 we have been planting trees here. You can see the way the trees are arranged in an array means that there was they were planted, they didn't grow themselves.
So for the one we saw, someone was asking, does it go throughout, or it just gets where?
It goes throughout to the end, and as we move along, you see the other lanes.
So, what kind of trees are we planting here?
Oh, we have eucalyptus, we have Mandalia, you have mahogany. We have different species here.
All right. Thank you. Does this include the area which is under contention?
CEO will get back to you after there will be a comprehensive brief on that.
We are showing the whole of the Achimota Forest. You can see for yourself. You can see the trees there, and then you can see the signages.
There's a lot of scenes.
Thank you very much. So we are still here, still with the team that is monitoring. Keep up with us. Let's run you through what's happening.
Honorable Minister planted on the 23rd of March 2021. So you can have a look at it. And then these are in 2017.
That was the launch.
So you have the Deputy Minister.
Yeah. So what kind of trees are these?
This is Melina, this is mahogany.
Okay. So we're still watching how it is. The minister planted a mahogany tree here on 23rd of March 2021. That's what you're seeing in your shot now. It was the launch of the 2021 Green Ghana. This was a symbolic thing they did to kickstart the whole project. So we're still here walking through the Achimota Forest to help you understand what is happening here, so you can also be well informed when you are engaging in your discussion. The Deputy Lands Minister, Mr. Benito Wusubio, is still here. You see one that was also planted by Mr. John M. Alote, the Chief Executive himself. That's what is in your view. That's mahogany. Let's see if we can get the Deputy Minister to do one or two things. Mr. Bio, thank you very much, sir. Good morning. So we are all here. I mean, let us understand what you see here.
What we are seeing is a deliberate effort by the Forestry Commission to densify the trees in the forest, because the original landscape now, forest landscape that you see, is made up of more of shrubs, and that does not reflect a true forest. So we are deliberately introducing some indigenous and also some I would say economic other trees, so that at least we would help with the biodiversity of this particular forest. I always say that when you see a forest that you cannot easily even see through or even try to walk through, then it's not a forest, because then it's just shrubs. Yes, that is it. Okay.
So good. In terms of, I mean, I read that you have a huge forest than this one. Going through it, you think you still stand by your that you have a forest which is bigger than here?
Oh yes, I do. Wow. I do. It's at Joaso. If you want, I can take you there.
Okay,
but Joaso, that is it's called the Dome Forest Reserve, and I have planted compartment 21, 15, 16. Yes, each of them is 128 hectares.
So with that experience, why did we take that long time in planting trees in this forest reserve?
Oh, I would say that some of us, as we were doing our own thing at a particular time when we were not in a position to be able to carry the institutions and then the ministry along, there was nothing we could do so much. But now that we have been given the opportunity to serve in the ministry, we have brought our experience and our hobby to bear on the work that we do. So this, it was in collaboration with Sir John, the late Sir John, that we came to start this particular introduction of more trees into the forest. And since 2017, it's an annual affair, and we've been doing it year on, and we are going to carry on with it until this whole forest actually become a forest and not, to me, shrubs.
Yes. Well, so people who are watching are interested and happy about what we're doing. But the question is, why are we then trying to say, okay, let's reclassify and give part of it to the whole family? That's the major question.
I want you to understand that I am happy today. I've heard the Obu family on their own have even issued out a statement. Yes, we should understand when government takes land from a particular allodia on our families, and over years government does not pay compensation. Yes, then you and I know that is not lawful, and because the Constitution states that compensation must be prompt, adequate, and then also timely. So once that is done, Once that is the case, then the whole family, after several petitions and then also going through the necessary process, were right in demanding some compensation from all previous governments. Yes, we acted on previous concerns, previous reports by several committees that had been set up by previous government, and then to ensure that even if we are giving them the land, the right thing is done. The right thing is to ensure that if, let's say, we dig aside that portion that have been already returned to them, so that at least now they can have the full use and full benefit of it. But we just did not do that in isolation. But then we added the fact that they must ensure that whatever they do also will not disturb or affect the integrity of the existing adjoining forest.
So what
we are working through now for you to see the extent of the forest, for all Ghanaians to understand that there is no way we are going to give up this forest. Secondly, we do not intend to sell this forest as has been previously stated in the media. But then the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is ensuring that this forest is preserved, and what is left as the forest as we see now would be kept and then also intensified by reforesting it for future generations and for posterity. We'll be working, and then soon we will be entering the zoo. The zoo too have been brought here. There's no way where are we going to have the zoo? The zoo is going to be here. And there's the need for all this development to ensure that at least the ecology here is maintained. You've seen other trees over there. We have Onyina, that's a cyber tree, the one there that has also been introduced. This is also cyber. Yes, when we were kids, we used to call it in Kase tree.
There's more we'll talk about. So that was the Deputy Lands Minister, Mr. Benito Owusu-Bio there. He says he has a large forest, but we are here. We're still trying to understand how the Achimota Forest is like, for us to better educate you who is watching us. So Aisha, from the early stages, this is where we are. This is what we've seen. We are still here. Whatever we see, we'll let our viewers all around the world have it here on JoyNews. So Aisha, over to you.
Kojo Brace over there with the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Earlier he spoke with the CEO of the Forestry Commission, telling us about how the forestry, the Achimota Forest looks like, the controversial Achimota Forest. We'll take a break on JoyNews Desk. We'll bring you more in business.
Hello and welcome. My name is Beverly Broom. Private insurance companies are calling for a collaboration with government to help address the shortfalls in the insurance industry. According to them, the overdependence of the public on the National Health Insurance Scheme has restrained the expansion of insurance policies, especially health insurance products. Here's more.
Engaging the media, Managing Director for Acacia Health Insurance, Dr. Dan Amu, disclosed that his outfit looks forward to insuring 60,000 lives in the short term. However, he believes this can be fully achieved with a partnership with government and continuous education of the public on private health insurance.
There's a lot that we've learned in the private health insurance space over these years. We cannot operate alone. We can work as very good partners to the NHIS. And so where the NHIS have got challenges, I think that it is very fair and open that they can engage us so that we can fill in the gaps where the NHIS is struggling with. Because at the end of the day, the healthcare is something that is on our hearts, is on our hearts as firms and companies in the private space. It's also, there's the same thing on the heart of government as well. So let's look at where we can easily partner, find ways that we can work in sync with each other so that where the NHIS is struggling, we can fill in and then offer the support that is needed.
Mr. Amu indicated that 182 million cedis was paid as claims to their clients. Addressing rumors of insurance companies' failure to pay claims, he explained that the premiums are pulled together to help all policyholders.
What we are offering is a corporate health insurance. You may be with one organization that is able to pay a premium but would use less. But there are other people in other organizations that actually uses more. So what we do is just to pool all of these funds to ensure that every member who is insured with Acacia can get his or her health needs met within the course of the year. So within 1 year, we don't have any funds that goes to waste. What you have paid that you've not used, somebody else in another insurance or in another firm has used.
The Electricity Company of Ghana has extended grace period for customers in the Krobo district of the Tema region from 2 years to 5 years to pay their debt for power used between 2018 and 2021. General Manager of the Tema region, Engineer Emmanuel Akini, was speaking at a stakeholder meeting at Odumasi Krobo on the introduction of prepaid meters in the district. Here's more.
The use of prepaid meter is a policy of ECG that has been in existence for over 20 years. Its introduction in the Krobo district is expected to help customers manage their consumption, avoiding issues with overbilling and others associated with postpaid meters. So far, about 3,000 postpaid meters have been captured in the first phase of the pre-installation survey, with 25 prepaid meters installed as at 4th May. Tema Regional Public Relations Officer for ECG, Sechua Mensah, describes processes leading to introduction of the smart meters as being successful.
Well, I would say it's been relatively good. We haven't had any negative situation per se. We've had a good enough collaboration with the customers. The security agencies are also on hand to help us with what we are doing. So. Yes, we have made progress, and we are grateful to all and sundry who have helped in one way or the other to make this possible. Any area that we start the installation of prepaid meters, we do it in phases. So we start with the pre-installation survey, which will help us to know whether, for instance, we need to reroute a certain meter, the cables that we need, and some other issues that may come up. So the pre-installation survey helps us to pick these technical details, and also commercially it helps us to raise what we call the final bill.
Secretary of United Krobo Foundation, Joshua Evo, holds a different view. According to him, some communities are not ready for the new meters.
After we returned from National Security Invite, we came to the community. We had 2 meetings with them, and I wish some of the videos are here. The people were not willing for that. Prepaid meters are not to be accepted. But it's here that we all sit with them, tell them the reason why they are bringing the prepaid, the implications, so that we won't know what to do, because they are just in to solve problem. I also suggest to the community that they should allow the ECG, United Krobo Foundation, and the whole community sit down. Let's discuss issues and bring lasting solution to these problems.
That's all for business now. Do log on to myjoyonline.com/business for more stories.